Hi guys, welcome back. It's Eric here with E&M Guns. You'll notice over the last year I've kind of been covering the Pacific Northwest and gun laws. I'm focusing on my home state of Oregon, where I was born and raised. So when new gun infringing laws come about, I'm going to bring you information on it. And hopefully we can get some of this stuff stopped. So this topic today, we're going to talk about House Bill 4145, the 2026 version. Stay tuned. I'm going to bring you a couple of video evidence. I'm going to show you basically what House Bill 4045 is and what it's not. So it's not a repeal to Measure 114. It doesn't repeal it. It doesn't knock it out. Here's a text on what it actually changes. I'll put it up here on the screen for you to see. As you can see, it is the implementing the language for Measure 114. So, out of curiosity, I asked Google's GTP, what if Oregon Supreme Court doesn't uphold Measure 14 and rules it unconstitutional? It does point out there that if that's the case, Measure 4 or House Bill 4045 will be nullable, immunity. But I've already come to you with a prediction on a previous video that I do think that they're going to uphold the Measure 114. Now it's time to get in the testimony on Measure 4045 and make your voice heard. I'm going to give you a surprise ally in this, so I want you guys to watch her, Representative Tran. Let's take a look.
I agree with Representative Mannix that we should wait for the Oregon courts to make its ruling. During the break, it was brought to my attention that as a gun owner myself, and I am in the Oregon Air National Guard, the militia, I do believe in the Second Amendment. And as this bill moves forward for further consideration as it moves out of this committee, I hope we all scrutinize it to make sure that it ends up saving lives and all the boxes are checked and it is not put together at the last minute with a lot of loopholes and unintended consequences. Not being an attorney, Rep. Anderson, I will say that if not an attorney, I can see inconsistency in the languages here. And if a regular lay Oregonian like myself, with education, of course, have challenges in making sense of it all. I hope all of our brains together will make sure that this bill leave our state in a way that it can be implemented and that will do Oregonians good.
As you can see there, Democrat thinks he's District 47, 45, Charlie Brown. But kind of a surprise ally there at the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives. Good questions. In her second testimony, you'll see she even questions like the language that's used in this bill. I'm surprised, guys, but I think you have basically Oregon Republicans guys that she brought up.
So on page 3 of our bill here, it says that we need to first go through the state's database, and then we will go through the FBI database for fingerprinting. So does that mean that the federal level will have our information as to whom owns gun in our state? Comment, Chair?
Yes, please.
So during this session, we created a lot of bills to protect Oregonians from the overreach of federal government. And currently, Oregon Oregon State Police does the background check, and it stay in Oregon. My concern is that even though we request the fingerprinting information to not be kept at the federal level, how can we assure that they won't do something with it? Someone once said, if you give somebody an ice cream, they're not going to give it back. They might just enjoy it. And so I think we're very contradictory in what our intents are to protect the state of Oregon. And gun owners in Oregon comes in all different types, female, BIPOC, hardworking, middle class. And I am skeptical that our information won't be used at the federal level in a way that won't harm Oregonians. So I just want to get that on the record.
So the last thing I want to bring up today is the provision in House Bill 4045 that limits any challenges to being filed in Marion County. I think that is one of the dirtiest, underhanded. You're talking about, Ontario resident who wants to file a suit against this bill has to drive 8 hours to Salem and make his petition known. He can't file it in his courthouse. I think that there's something fishy going on with that. I don't think that's right. I know they were pissed off that Measure 14 got held up in Harney County. Bad. I don't think that state legislators should be able to dictate where a case should be heard. That's just my opinion. But I think that's a fair and just opinion. I think you're putting an undue burden on folks that live over in the eastern side of your state, like Burns, Ontario. I'm drawing a blank. I didn't say Burns. Never mind. Burns, Ontario, those folks there, that's a good 6 to 8 hour drive. That's really inconvenient. It's something that I think that is, and chat or the Google, I think that's something that even Google picked up on. It's showing you both sides of that, and I'll put that up on the board there so you can see it. It is definitely a sneaky, underhanded trick, and you can't tell me that the judges in Marion County are more experienced than the judges out, say, in Harney County or one of the counties out here, whatever Ontario is. Not Malheur. It's Malheur. The judges in Malheur County are not as good as your judge in Marion County. I think if I was a judge in these counties, I think I'd be writing these legislators and letting them know that's bull. Fuck, guys, I hope you get a lot of information out of this. I hope it gets you into the fight. I'm going to push again for Oregon Firearms Federation. They're in there fighting to keep your gun rights, and they need your support. I'm a member, have been since 2005. I frequently ask questions and talk with them via email. Good people to work with. I can't encourage you enough. If you're going to fight this battle, legal battles, you need people like off in your corner. I'm sure there's another gun advocate group there in Oregon that's just not part of Oregon enough to find them out now. But I know there's some other YouTubers, Derek.
If I jump through all these hoops, right? Let's say I take the training class. So I'm going to pay to the trainer to train me to get this certificate that I need to take to the permitting agent, and that permitting agent does not have the capacity to do so because they could be short staff. Depending on where you're at in the state, they might not have enough bodies there to be able to run the background checks, also issue your permit to purchase. You're going to be delayed there, right? So that's like, this is going to create this huge bottleneck.
Hell from Lethal Lovebirds, he dives in, kind of like watching Gunlaw does, dives in and geeks out on the legislature. That's another one. I'll link in the description so you can kind of see him as well. Have a blessed week. Love you. Peace out.